Welcome to Es6112. We're going to have the final module on product differentiation. I think product differentiation is one which is probably more easy to understand. It's the one that looks about how can the student demonstrate their learning, and it's based on choice. So we're going to look at the input into the system of readiness, interest, and learner profile and say, how can we, after we've planned and done all these strategies, how can the student demonstrate their learning? Now this can be applied in the overall unit, so it's a summative task and it's a large body of work. Or it can be in the individual lessons, in other words, or cluster of lessons. How can a student demonstrate their understanding? What can I put in this lesson or these two lessons to say, okay, they've demonstrated, and look at their readiness, interest, and learner profile on that in the thinking. So let's start with, say, summative tasks. So you have some sort of project, assignment, or so on, where if you have different levels of difficulties, low, medium, high, or the words of in our text of advanced proficient and partially proficient. Well, based on their readiness level, students can select and have choice in what they start with. It could be that they they select the mid-range choice, or the one which is a slightly more advanced or an easier choice, and they complete that task. Or it could be a graduated where they go from 1 up to 2 or 3. So in other words, they build upon. So they start with the lower grade choice, successfully complete that, and then graduate to a more high degree of difficulty. So students can start at different levels and advance to different levels. So that's providing a unit task which is differentiated on the basis of their understanding or readiness. You can do similarly in class. You can provide multiple opportunities of degrees of difficulty. So you might have a smattering of workstations around. You might have a task sheet that has options on it, and they all have different degrees of difficulty in those tasks. So again, students can jump straight into the more difficult task, which is more extended, or they can start with a simpler task and then graduate across the range of options in your lesson or your cluster of lessons. These are product differentiations where the student is demonstrating their learning in class or across the summative task in a unit. Also, product differentiation can be based on their interest. And I think that's the easiest one to capture. You might have a writing task that they have to do, and you can give them a choice of different topics based on their interest. Very easy to do. And it increases the student engagement into the learning because they've got a choice and it's something that they are interested in or captures their imagination. In the same way, you can do that with an extended task. So the unit might be, you might be doing, they say, not a writing task, you might take some sort of mathematical area or a science project or a history project where you give a whole range of choices that they can apply the skills that you're teaching in a real life context or a historical context of their choice. And that again increases the engagement. So it can be done for the summative task or in a lesson context where you're providing little choices in the activity that you're doing today or you're doing in this week. The last one's learner profile, and that brings together some of Gardner's work or the VAC, the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Again, it's providing choice, so the student can demonstrate in the lesson, give them multiple opportunities to actually do something, create something, express something. In a unit sense, you can actually say the culminating assessment piece is that they produce a model of their learning, which demonstrates the learning, or they can produce a written piece that they can do, or it might be a speech that they present, or it might be some digital portfolio they put together to demonstrate that they have actually understood and unpacked the concept and the learning content in this forum. So product differentiation is the culmination and expression of student understanding and learning, and it relates back to readiness, degrees of difficulty, the interest, providing choice, and also their learner profile, giving them multiple range of opportunities to them to submit their work. So I think it's actually more of a self-evident one, and it goes across classroom and the unit work. So hopefully you enjoy